Welcome back, friends, fans, and fam. Our two of tonight's Snarl in Fairfax, Virginia. At the end of our one, the good news is Jessica Goldman wasn't snatched up by the sectarians. The bad news, particularly for the UK ladies and Ballarat Jack Jones, is she's back and she's positively rabid. Grace Benning came out to save her partner with a chair shot to Jessica. Virginia Austin is with the staff doctor, and as for Jessica Goldman, she's left the building just as quickly as she showed up.
Wally went to try and speak with Goldman, but it was already too late. And of course, we're all wondering when or if she'll be back anytime soon.
A most disturbing thought, gentlemen, but we have a show to run. On to the next half. Coming up next, ladies competition with obnoxious Brandy Knox, set to lock it up against Zoe Stark.
As we continue, ladies and gentlemen, our second half opening contest, one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Pawtucket, Rhode Island, here's obnoxious Brandy Knox. The obnoxious one, former leader of the once dreaded Bell Council, disappeared after last summer's Sweet Revenge tour, opting to take the rest of the year off, and probably not without good reason. She floundered through most of 2025 and had an off and on involvement with Commander Aziz. But since he's AWOL here, I'm presuming Brandy is back on her own.
Yeah, she ditched Aziz over the summer, just before her last match with Gigi Dolan, and I guess she wanted the time to regroup and maybe plot out a winning strategy for this year. Well, this will be her first match back after 4 months away, her first of 2026, her first without Commander Aziz, and her first clash with Zoe Stark.
I don't know nothing about that, but I like her music. It reminds me of those old Sid and Marty Krofft shows. She's come out here with H.R. Puffin Stuff, Jimmy, Freddie the Flute, and Witchy Poo. We've got to save you from the witch, Jimmy. She wants your flute.
I like those shows. Lidsville was my fave.
I was a Land of the Lost kid myself.
Yeah, I like Land of the Lost. That was a cool show.
Her opponent from Las Vegas, Nevada, Zoe Stark.
Whether she's alone or whether she's with Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark is definitely the genuine article. She is a for-real lady wrestler. She is not about looks. She's all about ring technique. And that is going to be a genuine challenge for obnoxious Brandy Knox. I'm looking forward to this one. This one should be pretty good. And before you people start sending me hate mail, I am not saying that Zoe Stark is unattractive. She's just not as vapid as some of the other lady wrestlers.
Thanks for clarifying that, because while I'm not criticizing you, you did kind of need to explain it in better detail.
Definitely a first-time encounter between Brandy Knox and Zoe Stark. Should be a good one. Tom Kanamura rings the bell. Zoe Stark charges a clothesline, takes Brandy down into the corner. Brandy puts on the brakes, gets a hold of the foot, slams down Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark catches a knee to the side of the head. Brandy Knox with a stomp to the leg. The obnoxious one trying to assert control here against Zoe Stark. Spinning back fist, takes Zoe down. There's another stomp to the leg. Brandy Knox, no slouch in that ring, that's for damn sure, but then again, neither is Zoe Stark. She is definitely all the way a wrestler. Goes behind on her. Look at that. Beautiful suplex with a pin and a bridge. One, but just a one. Barely just a one. Brandy Knox back up on her feet. Everybody rebounds off the ropes and misses their move. There's a drop kick from Brandy to Zoe. Zoe Stark rounded up by Brandy Knox. There's a forearm that sends her down to the canvas. Brandy flips her over. Gets a hold on. Oh, look at this right here. Oh! Nasty clothesline from Brandy Knox. Zoe Stark rounds her up over the shoulders into the fireman's carry. Steamrollers the girl. Oh, man. And there's a nice moonsault. Well done by Zoe Stark. Brandy counters with a kick to the head. Takes herself to the outside apron. Comes back in. Zoe Stark misses her grapple, but Brandy doesn't. Whips her to the ropes. A collision with no result. But look at this. Hey, nice Hurricane Rana from Zoe Stark. Stark spins her around with a hard right, goes behind into a rear waist lock and slams her down to the canvas by the back of her head. Zoe Stark with a chop across the chest, a right and a kick to the face of Brandy Knox. Brandy quickly rolls to the outside and she charges. Zoe Stark with the upper hand has her up in that fireman's carry again, gonna steamroller her out on the floor. Ow! Well, damn. Huh. Okay. Kick to the midsection from Brandy. Brandy hurls Zoe Stark to the opposing side of the ring, makes her own way back inside. Referee Tom Canamora continuing the count. As Zoe Stark makes her way back inside, Brandy Knox takes her down with one arm. A clubbing overhand right, a second. Brandy catches a shot to the midsection from Zoe Stark. Zoe rebounds off the ropes, flying crossbody, takes her down, and here's a pin and a hook of the leg. One. Huh. Ho, ho, ho. That was a good one, though. Brandy Knox catches a stomp to the arm. Zoe Stark off the middle rope. Beautiful flying crossbody right dead center of the ring. One. Again, just a one. Brandy Knox, a very tough lady to keep down. A kick to the head from Brandy to Zoe. Zoe Stark gathered up. Counters with a right to Brandy. Gets a hold on her. Gets a hold of the... Oh, man. Nasty snap suplex from Zoe Stark, who catches a kick to the head from Brandy. Quickly back up on her feet. Rebound off the ropes and a flying punch. Takes Zoe Stark down to the mat. Zoe rolls to the outside. Brandy's right there waiting for her. Zoe locks her up pretty quick. Whips her to the ropes. Misses with her move. Brandy with a kick to the head. Zoe Stark gathered up. Woo! Hard knee to the midsection. Huh. Up off the middle rope, but probably not a good idea. And I was right. She knew it too. Brandy Knox not going to go for the high-risk maneuver. Instead, playing tug-of-war with Zoe Stark's left arm. Sets her up onto the top turnbuckle. And oh, well, that was simple but effective. Just shoved her off out down to the floor. Oh, man. Well, Brandy Knox was never one to keep things complicated. Some mounted punches and a slap to the face to Zoe Stark. Zoe catches a gouge to the face from Brandy Knox, who goes behind on her and gives her the bum's rush right into the barricade, rolls herself back inside. Tom Canamora urging her to get back in there. Zoe Stark indicating to the fans that everything is all right. She's going to go after Brandy again, but Brandy looking pretty confident in there. Brandy Knox catches a kick to the midsection from Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark locks her up, whips her towards the ropes. Here she comes, and ooh, man, set a Luthez press and a set of mounted punches from Zoe Stark. There's a stomp that doesn't connect, a clothesline that doesn't connect. Brandy goes behind on her, rear waist lock. They disengage. Zoe catching elbows to the midsection from Brandy. Brandy Knox with a hard shot to the midsection of Zoe Stark. And a couple of driving knees into the same area. Man, I know her insides are hurting right about now. Zoe Stark gathered up by Brandy. She charges, running kick right to the face. Oh, man, here's a pin. 1, 2. Man, tried to kick Zoe Stark's head for a field goal, and she's letting Tom Canamora have it for the count. But it was a 2. I don't care what she says. There's a kick, and another, and a third to the leg of Brandy from Zoe Stark. There's a right, and a short clothesline. There's a second one. And there's a heel kick right to the face of Brandy Knox from Zoe Stark. Zoe drives a knee into the head of Brandy Knox. Brandy makes her way to a standing position on the outside apron, using the ropes to get herself stood up. Zoe Stark hangs her up off the top rope, out and down to the floor she goes. Brandy back up on her feet pretty quick, rolls herself back inside the ring, catches a kick to the midsection from Zoe. Zoe with a pump handle, but quickly countered. There's a shot to the back of the head, a rebound off the rope, that move that doesn't find the way, but there's a crossbody that does from Zoe Stark. Zoe stalking Brandy Knox. This could be bad. Brandy rounded up. Ooh, what a wicked knee to the head. Here's a pin. 1, 2. I thought that might have been it, but Brandy Knox getting that right shoulder up just in time. Zoe Stark moves right in on her. Another hard forearm that sends her shivering down to the mat. Zoe with a couple of hard rights. Brandy quickly puts on the brakes, locks her up. And quick counter from Zoe Stark. A shot to the midsection and an elbow to the face, putting Brandy knocks into the corner. Zoe Stark turns her around, delivers a hard shot to the back. A second, and a third, and a fourth shot to the back of the head. Look at this. This is an interesting way of yanking the arm against the ropes. Haven't seen that done before. Brandy counters, gets out of the corner. Misses with the driving knee. Rebounds off the ropes, connects with the flying fist again. And down goes Zoe Stark. There's a stomp right to the face. Brandy Knox with a knee to the head, turning it around again after Zoe Stark had the advantage for quite some time. Brandy sets her up for... Oh! Wicked stomp right to the side of the face. Oh, Brandy Knox putting the boots to the arm. Oh, Zoe Stark. There's a stomp to the midsection. And again, Brandy turning things around relatively quickly. Zoe on the outside. Here comes Brandy over the top. Whoa, man. Ass over tea kettle. Turned herself into a human cannonball and took Zoe Stark down to the floor. Stomp to the midsection. Brandy with a stomp to the arm of Zoe Stark. A stomp to the midsection. Referee Tom Canamura counting as wrist clutch kicks to the face. And a forearm to the side of the head is awarded to Zoe Stark from Brandy Knox. Brandy rolls her back inside. Brandy Knox takes herself to the top turnbuckle. And here she comes, elbow right across the back of Zoe Stark. Zoe catches another stomp to the back. The same area, Brandy Knox stalking. Look at this. Spins her around. Oh, there's a nasty BFT from Brandy Knox. Brandy gathers up Zoe Stark again. Reverse Russian leg sweep slams her face first into the canvas. Zoe rounded up one more time here. Here comes Brandy, another running kick to the face, and here's another quick pin and another hook of the leg. Here's the ref. 1, 2, 3. Well, that is going to do it. Brandy Knox picking up the win over Zoe Stark by pinfall. Let's get the official time from Buck Morton.
The time, 8 minutes and 38 seconds. Your winner by pinfall, Brandy Knox.
Oh, there you have it. The obnoxious one taking up her first win of 2026 over Zoe Stark. In pretty good fashion, too. Might augur good things. For Brandy Knox this year, we'll just have to wait and see. But what a terrific matchup. Zoe Stark gave as good as she got, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't good enough. Brandy Knox picking up the 3-count pinfall on Zoe Stark. Folks, we got 3 more terrific matches coming up, and we'll be back with all of that right after the break. Don't you go anywhere. Ain't y'all puffin' stuff. He's rambling, things get rough. Ain't y'all puffin'.
Our crab dragon friends, the Sectarians, still celebrating Eason Valek and his recent win over lightning-fast Tony Dangerous. And the Gothic Grappler is back this week, ready to face cruiserweight icon Craig NBC Block. The following contest is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, accompanied by Amanda Robinson from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, weighing 218 pounds, the Gothic Grappler, Eason Valek.
Well, instead of getting frustrated by the Sectarians, let's count our blessings and not our problems. For one thing, Jessica Goldman is not a sectarian, which is a great load off my mind right away. But they said they recruited new people recently, so I'm kind of wondering what's going on with all that. Amanda Robinson leading the Gothic Grappler in the battle here against Craig NBC Block. Wow, this should be a solid matchup between 2 pretty tough cruiserweights. Of course, the Sectarians, they love to cheat, so, well, like we said, Craig Block is going to have to pay a little extra attention in this one.
His opponent from Delray Beach, Florida, weighing 190 pounds, Craig NBC Block.
Craig out here by himself, without Trowel Barton. I guess Block wants to demonstrate he has no fear of Valek, or the Sectarians as a whole.
The longest reigning cruiserweight champion ever, Block came back recently, along with Barton, and he's definitely still got it, but with Robinson ringside. Craig Block better have eyes in the back of his head.
Hey, you gotta worry about that. Craig Block does have eyes in the back of his head. His years with the ringside army have honed his ring awareness to a fine point. And Craig Block, it's hard to put anything over on this guy. It's gonna be a great matchup. Looking forward to seeing what happens between him and Valak. I'm definitely favoring NBC on this one.
Block has a wicked cyclone drop as his best and most effective move, and Eason, of course, has the Valak driver, and whichever of these two lands their move first has a big edge on winning tonight.
Count Creepy and Craig NBC Block. Well, now, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see how this one dopes out. Referee Charles Lucera sounds the bell. They come center ring. Craig opens up with a hard right to Valak. Spins him around with a second one. Goes behind on him. And a nice suplex. Craig Block with an overhand right to Valak. Locks him up again. Goes behind one more time. German release suplex. Valak catches another right from NBC. There's a drop toe hold. Craig Block locks up the leg. The referee checking things out. Valak turning it around. Tags Block with a couple of rights. Backs him off. Valak back up to his feet first. A kick to Block a second. A third. There's a snap mirror. Followed up with a flip over neck whip from Eason Valak. The Gothic Grappler rounds up NBC. Block catches him with the upper hand belly-to-belly suplex from Craig. Craig countered by Valak with a right. Block whipped towards the ropes. Tilt to roll backbreaker from Eason Valak. Block rolls to the outside. Valak charges over the top and crashes and burns. Amanda Robinson didn't do her fella any favors with that one. Definitely an error. Valak back inside. Block misses with the clothesline, and look at this. Whoa! What an armbar from Eason Valak, the Gothic Grappler. Real smug after picking up that win over Tony Dangerous last week. Here's a low DDT to Craig. Craig Block covered by Valak. But just barely a one. The Gothic Grappler moves right back in on Block, but Block slams him face first into the canvas by his arm. NBC drives a knee into the arm of the Gothic Grappler. Amanda Robinson looking on. She don't think too much of Craig Block, but he don't care. Knee to the side of the head of Eason Valak. Valak in the corner making his way to a standing position. Amanda Robinson already cutting loose that turnbuckle. Here's another suplex from Craig Block to Valak. And a stomp to the leg. Here's our Amanda Robinson. Definitely an untrustworthy individual standing at ringside. There's a stomp to the midsection from Craig. Craig Block lines up the arm on Valak. A kick to the gut. Sends him spinning. NBC rallying the crowd here in Fairfax. NBC rounds him back up again. Tries for the drop toe hold, but doesn't get it. Valak off the middle rope and a beautiful DDT from the Gothic Grappler. Hate to give him anything, but there it is. A stomp to the arm of Craig Block. The referee correcting that turnbuckle. There's a nice moonsault from Eason Valak. A stomp to the midsection. A kick to the gut. NBC on the receiving end of the bad business and in big time trouble. There's a set of rocket-style kicks to the head of Craig Block. Valak gathers Block up again. Whips him to the far right corner. Moves in on him. NBC rounded up. Scoop slammed by Eason Valak. Valak takes himself up to the middle rope. NBC makes his way to a standing position. Here he comes in a pretty nice Hurricane Rana. Sends NBC spinning. Here's a rebound off the ropes. Bottom rope moonsault. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. One. But again, only just a one. Craig Block will need to answer back pretty soon. He is losing control of this match. Hot, quick, and in a hurry. Eason Valak countered by Block. Block quickly back up on his feet. Craig locks him up. Escorts him towards the far right corner by the scruff of his neck. Head first into the turnbuckle. Eason Valak counter whips Block towards the... Oh, look at that nice counter from NBC. He rebounds off the rope, swinging a miss from Valak and a flying elbow from Craig Block. And just like that, things have shifted again. NBC rounds up Valak. Oof! Nice turnbuckle. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. But no, Valak getting the right shoulder up. There's a stomp to the back. And a driving knee into the head of Ethan Valak. And I do believe Craig just busted him open. He rolls to the outside along with Valak. And yeah, NBC is charged, the former longest reigning cruiserweight champion in all of RWL history. Whoa! That was a hellified arm drag from Valak. Big offense grappler. Showing off to the fans in the front row. NBC is laid out. There's another moonsault, but it doesn't go. A couple of knees to the face of the Gothic grappler from NBC. Block drives Valak into the barricade. He rounds him back up. And the folks in the front row over there getting quite a treat here. Head first into the lip of the apron goes Valak. There's a kick to the side from Craig Block. Block steps on the hand, drives the knee into the arm. Now Ethan Valak's on the receiving end of the bad business. Craig takes himself back inside the ring, decides to leave Valak to his own devices. And yeah, he is charged, and Amanda Robinson doesn't like what she's seeing at all. Ethan Valak still not hurt. Craig takes himself to the top turnbuckle. Valak getting up to his feet. Craig positions himself, and here he goes. Ooh, man, elbow right to the top of the dome of Ethan Valak. The Gothic grappler rounded up by NBC. Rolled back inside the ring. Craig Block brings himself back inside. Valak slowly getting back to a standing position. There's a hard right to the back of the head. There's a hard right that spins Valak around. There's another drop toe hold into that leg lock one more time, but too close to the rope. The referee tells Block to break it up. There's a slap to the leg. The Valak counters. Back up on his feet. Locks it up with NBC. Oof! Wicked kick from Ethan Valak. Valak rounds up Block again. Escorts him towards the far right corner, head first into the turnbuckle. Ethan Valak yanking on the arm against the ropes. Craig Block trying to shake that one off. Valak drapes the leg over the middle rope and delivers a calf kick too. Both the left arm and left leg of Craig Block just taking a beating here at the hands of Ethan Valak. He twists the arm, takes a walk with Craig Block. Takes him up to the top rope and a Japanese arm drag from the Gothic grappler. Well, not a bad one, I'll admit that. Block up against the ropes. Valak charges, clothesline, takes him over the top rope and out onto the floor. The Gothic grappler waiting for Block to get back inside. Oh, look at this, another arm drag from Ethan Valak. Valak gets a hold of Block. Whips him towards the far left corner, charges and misses with the running splash. NBC getting out of the way. There's a clothesline that takes Valak down to the mat. NBC takes a little walk for himself. He charges, there's the clothesline, and takes Valak over the top rope out onto the floor. Again, Amanda Robinson right in the face of the referee. Disengaging that turnbuckle, exposing the steel. Head first into the lip of the apron goes to Craig Block, courtesy of Ethan Valak. Referee Charles Lucera counting. Block goes back inside the ring. And here comes Valak. Misses with the low drop kick. Craig rolls out of the way, gets a hold of him. Valak whips him towards the rope, and whoop, well, that kind of sort of worked out, but not exactly. Up over the shoulder, Craig Block counters into an inverted DDT, dropping Valak on the back of his head, follows it up with a rolling elbow. Craig Block gets a hold of Valak by the wrist and ankle, drags him towards center ring. Craig Block flips him over. Look at this. NBC walks him into a sharpshooter. The referee distracted, but Valak powers out of it anyway. Valak with a wheelbarrow DDT on Craig Block, and here's a quick pin. 1, 2. But again, no. No, man, Valak's man. NBC, that's a hard fellow to keep down. Valak is extremely frustrated. A kick to the face of NBC. And another basement DDT. Slamming Block's forehead right into the mat. Ethan Valak with another moonsault on Craig Block. Craig laid out center ring. Ethan Valak makes his way to the top turnbuckle. And here he comes up the top rope moonsault. Oh, man. Orthostic grappler again. Drives another knee into the arm of Craig Locke. That left arm's taking quite a bit of abuse already. Off the top rope moonsault does in front of the mark. NBC gets out of the way, delivers a stomp to the leg. Craig Locke showing the fans that he's fine. No problem. But, oh, Valid with a little quick inverted hurricane run and a kick to the back of NBC. Valid rounds him back up again. Locks him up, collar and elbow, whips him towards the ropes. Ducks under. Makes the leapfrog. Here he comes. A kick to the chest. The clothesline doesn't find the mark. Valid gets a hold of him. NBC being escorted towards the far left turnbuckle, head first into it he goes. There's a kick to the midsection, down into the corner, goes blocked. There's a stomp from Valid. There's a second, and there's a third. Craig rolls out towards center. Valid gathers him back up. Ooh, man, what a power slam. There's another pin. 1, 2. One, shut up. Ethan Valid picking himself up another win. Wow.
The time, 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Your winner by pinfall, Ethan Valid.
Another upset win for Valid, and I guess the less we say about it, the better. We'll be back with more Snarl in just a minute. I don't believe it.
And so it came to pass that the gods and goddesses of the squared circle came to clash in violent spectacle on a day when old rivalries were settled and new rivalries were born. In the one place big enough and grand enough to hold it all, RWL Coliseum Games.
Starting Tuesday, January 27th.
For those who might have wondered, Sylvia and I enjoyed our short vacation, but the Stronghold is back in force, and the Snarl TV champions, the Psychedelics, are set to face Mid-Atlantic champion, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and Rowdy Roddy Piper.
In a non-title match. Forgot to mention that, DB.
The following non-title tag team contest is set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first, at a combined weight of 490 pounds, from Glasgow, Scotland, Rowdy Roddy Piper, and from Orlando, Florida, the RWL Mid-Atlantic champion, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
Orndorff and Hot Rod rejoined forces last week, posting up a solid match in their return, and this week facing the Snarl Tag Champs in this non-title scrap. Hard to say who might win here, since Piper and Orndorff are a pretty solid team with heaps of experience, especially as a tag team.
They've sure got the attention of the fans, too. This classic pairing calls up memories of their past alliances, so they've also got quite the legacy on their side. But we're talking about the Snarl Tag Champs here, and like most Stronghold clients, they don't miss many of their call shots. No matter who wins, this is gonna be a fiery encounter.
Absolutely true, gentlemen. Really looking forward to this one. And while Piper and Orndorff did not win their debut match as a new tag team all over again, oh man, against the Freak and the Wild Thing. This is gonna be good, guys.
Their opponents accompanied by Sylvia Strong at a combined weight of 480 pounds from Paducah, Kentucky, the Freak, and from Staten Island, New York, Wild Thing Wayne Tate, the Snarl Tag Team Champions, the Psychedelics.
Well, it certainly looks like the Freak and the Wild Thing look very well rested, sporting the Snarl Tag Team Championships, along with your beloved Sylvia Strong, making their way down to ringside for this match with Piper and Orndorff. And I don't know, I'm leaning towards the Psychedelics because, like you said, GB, they don't miss many.
Well, let's find out the benefits or shortcomings of a week out of circulation.
All right, we got Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and he's going to be starting off for his team, and the Freak starting off for the Psychedelics, and here we go, Tom Kanamura. Sounds the bell. They come center ring. A quick jab and a quick right and a quick hip toss from the Freak. Takes Orndorff down. Now he's beating his feet on the Mississippi mud. That is Mr. Wonderful. Set of wrist clutch kicks right to the side of the head from the Freak. Orndorff trying to get back up. The Freak gets a hold of him. There's a wrist clutch boot to the face. The Freak rounds him up, double choke lift, and a toss halfway across town. And he turns it over to Wild Thing Wayne Tague on the tag. Orndorff back to a standing position. A chop across the chest of the Wild Thing. He gets a hold of him. Nice suplex from Paul Orndorff. The Mid-Atlantic champion trying to get to his corner, but too late. The Wild Thing gets a hold of him, whips him over the top rope and out onto the floor before he can tag Roddy Piper. Orndorff don't look too pleased with that. Wild Thing locked up. There's a kick to the midsection. Orndorff counters with a kick of his own. Quick jab, quick right. Orndorff with a rib breaker to the Wild Thing. Wayne Tague rolls to the outside. Mr. Wonderful takes himself to the top turnbuckle. Here he comes. Elbow right to the top of the dome. The Wild Thing Wayne Tague right in front of Sylvia Strong. There's a dragon screw from Wild Thing Wayne Tague. The Wild Thing with another kick to the midsection and a DDT on the floor. With Tom Kanemaru already engaged in the count. There's a kick to the midsection from Orndorff. There's a short arm clothesline. Orndorff countered by Wild Thing with a kick to the gut. And a pretty nice hip toss. Well done by the Wild Thing, huh? Wild Thing Wayne Tague rolls Orndorff back inside the ring. He is desperate to make the tag to Roddy Piper, and he just might do it. And he does. Here comes Hot Rod. Hot Rod catches a boot to the face from the Wild Thing. Wild Thing misses with the rolling elbow. Piper quickly back up, misses with the running kick. They lock it up. There's a forearm to Roddy Piper. Piper being escorted towards the corner, head first into the turnbuckle. Here comes the Freak again, and a double team incoming from Mr. Wonderful. He is whipped to the ropes. Ooh, man. Taken down hard as the Freak takes over for the Psychedelics. Orndorff on the outside apron, getting to a standing position. Counters. The Freak counters with an enziguri and takes him out to the floor again. Mr. Wonderful is laid out. The Freak off the top, 10 feet up, 10 feet down, big time leg drop. Oh, man. The Freak with a quick jab and a one-arm slam on the outside. Roddy Piper finally back to his feet. A double axe handle off the apron to Mr. Wonderful. Orndorff rounded up again by the Freak. Tries to get him back in the ring, but Piper's in the way. Kick to the midsection, and a running headbutt from the Freak, who decides Orndorff can get in his damn self. Piper counters with a forearm. The Freak tags him with the right. Orndorff back inside the ring now, and a hard right hand drops the Freak like a bad habit. The Freak gets a hold of Piper, headlock punch. Orndorff going after Wild Thing Wayne Tague, gets hung up on the ropes. Double axe handle to Orndorff. The Freak rolls back inside the ring to take care of Piper, gets a hold of him, whips him to the corner, running knee. Down goes Mr. Wonderful. There's a kick to the midsection. There's another one. There's a third. There's a, oh man, putting the boot to the throat. Forcing all of his weight into the chest of Mr. Wonderful. There's a handstand off the ropes and a pair of double knees to the chest of Paul Orndorff. The Freak turns it over to the Wild Thing. Orndorff still laid out as Wild Thing moves in. The Wild Thing drives the knee into the canvas on Orndorff. Rolls him over for the cover and hooks the leg just about center ring, but Roddy Piper right there to break it up even before the count of one. Okay. Wild Thing Wayne Tague currently in control of Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. The Mid-Atlantic champion quickly counters with a right and a double throat chop, forcing Wild Thing into the corner. And now being introduced to Mr. Turnbuckle and his 9 cousins by Mr. Wonderful. And out to the center collapses Wild Thing. He goes after him, but swing and a miss with the clothesline. No good. He counters with elbows to the midsection to Roddy Piper. Piper backed off. Running DDT from Wild Thing Wayne Tague. Tague goes after Orndorff, tags him with the right. Meanwhile, Piper and the Freak duking it out on the other side of the ring. Oh, slammed into the lip of the apron goes Orndorff from Wild Thing Wayne Tague. Piper making a beeline for the Wild Thing. Hot Rod rounds him up for a nice vertical suplex. Mr. Wonderful is laid out face down on the floor with the referee counting running DDT. And both members of the team laid out, man. Wild Thing Wayne Tague currently in control. Piper counters with a right. A gouge of the face. A chop. Another chop. A third chop. A fourth chop. Roddy Piper shoves the Wild Thing to the other side of the ring. Gets himself back inside before the counter lapses. Wild Thing Wayne Tague still laid out. Mr. Wonderful going to get right up and go after him. Piper going after the Freak. Wow. The momentum on this one is all off balance. Oh, man. Piper still working on the Freak. Hangs him up off the top rope. Mr. Wonderful with a flapjack drops Wild Thing face first into the floor. Referee still counting. Belly to back suplex to Wild Thing from Orndorff. Piper off the top rope onto the Wild Thing. Oh, man, this is crazy. Wild Thing Wayne Tague back in the ring waiting for Roddy Piper. He charges, misses with the clothesline. Wild Thing gets behind him, delivers a shot to the back, whips him back into the turnbuckle. Oh, man. Wild Thing whips Piper to the opposing corner, and a running forearm sends him crashing out. Rebound off the ropes and a running spear from Wild Thing Wayne Tague, who covers and hooks the leg. One, but Piper right there to break it up. Sylvia Strong going absolutely nuts. I guess a week's worth of vacation time has renewed her batteries. Hung up off the top rope goes Mr. Wonderful. Orndorff and Piper in trouble. Wrist clutch stomps to the chest from the Wild Thing. Wild Thing tags in the Freak. Roddy Piper laid out near center in big trouble. Orndorff on the outside. Wrist clutch kicks and a forearm to Piper from the Freak. And this match has gone on pretty long already. And as we know, the Psychedelics stay for the long haul for sure. The Freak on the top turnbuckle. Piper getting to a standing position. Here he comes and ooh! Piper just got out of the way. Delivers a running kick. Delivers a stomp to the back. The Wild Thing working on Mr. Wonderful on the outside. Dragon screw from the Freak. The Freak rounds up Piper. Orndorff driven into the barricades by the Wild Thing on the outside. Piper whipped to the ropes by the Freak. There's a collision that sends them both halfway across the ring. Piper catches a jab from the Freak. The Freak winds up the arm into a hammerlock. Couple of hard shots to the midsection from Piper. Piper locks up the Freak, whips him to the ropes. They collide again. Double throat chop, a chop to the chest, but a counter, a hip toss from the Freak. Orndorff finally back to a standing position, going to get back to his tag corner, I presume. Piper slammed headfirst into the Psychedelics turnbuckle. Here comes Wild Thing Wayne Tague on the tag. There's a hard shot to the midsection to Roddy Piper. Piper rounded up from behind by Wild Thing Wayne Tague. Back suplex. The Freak and the Wild Thing firmly in control of this match at the present time. Piper back to a standing position. The Freak looking on as Wild Thing Wayne Tague sets up something fancy. What a beautiful suplex that was from Wild Thing Wayne Tague. The Wild Thing covers and hooks the leg again and again. Piper breaking it up before the ref can even count a one. Man, Piper's fast. Rebound off the rope. Leg drop doesn't find the mark. Piper quickly back up. Running drop kick doesn't find the mark from Piper. Piper locks up. The Wild Thing Wayne Tague escorts him to his team's corner. Head first into the turnbuckle goes the Wild Thing, and here comes Mr. Wonderful on the tag. Double team coming up. Wild Thing whipped to the ropes. Double back body drop as Mr. Wonderful takes over for his team. Wild Thing back up to a standing position. Gets a hold of Mr. Wonderful. Escorts him to the corner. Smashes his head into the turnbuckle. But he counters with an elbow, but the Freak tags him with a cheap shot. Orndorff and the Wild Thing both momentarily stunned. Well, this is not a good situation. And until one of them snaps out of it, this is how it's going to be. Referee Tom Canamora looking on. But Piper and the Wild Thing both seriously messed up. Sylvia Strong looking on, hoping that Wild Thing Wayne Tague will snap out of it first, and he does. Double axe handle across the back of the head of Roddy Piper, a jumping elbow across the back of Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Orndorff rolls to the outside. The Freak catches an inverted atomic drop. A couple of shots from Wild Thing, but a hip toss from Mr. Wonderful, who goes to work on a downed Wild Thing on the outside. Again, the referee continuing to count. The cross body from Orndorff don't find the mark. The Wild Thing gets him back inside the ring. The Freak also momentarily stunned on the outside. The Wild Thing rolls back inside the ring. Orndorff catches him from behind. Belly to back suplex just about center ring. Mr. Wonderful locks it up with the Wild Thing. Another flapjack face first into the canvas from Orndorff as he turns it over to Rowdy Piper. The Freak finally back at his tag corner as Piper moves in on the Wild Thing. Piper all the way up on the top far right turnbuckle. Here he comes. Elbow drop right across the back of Wild Thing Wayne Tague. Followed up with a stomp to the same zone. Piper countered with a jawjacker from Wild Thing Wayne Tague. Tague sets him up. Ooh, nasty suplex. Folded him in half, man. Wow. Rowdy Piper rounded up by the Wild Thing. Wild Thing gets him by the scruff of the neck, escorts him to the Psychodelic's corner, smashes his head into the turnbuckle, turns it over to the Freak. And another double team coming up for Hot Rod. Double shoulders as the Freak takes over for the Psychedelics. This match has been good. Already halfway over, still no sign of a winner though. Piper whipped into the corner by the Freak. Hard right. Up on the middle ropes. Here he comes. There's that clothesline off the middle rope. That's his signature. One. But nope. No good. Rowdy Piper messes things up for him. Wild Thing shows him the outside. Orndorff on the outside. Piper locks in a sleeper hold on the Freak. Referee Tom Canamora keeping an eye on things. Wild Thing Wayne Tague back inside the ring, but a jawjacker disengages Rowdy Piper from the Freak. The Freak locks him up. Hard whips him into the far right corner. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff on the outside. Piper whipped to the ropes. The Freak misses with the knee. Piper misses with the clothesline. The Freak rounds him up, but Piper quick with the counter and a chop block to the back of the knee of the Freak. Piper makes his way to the top turnbuckle here. Changes his mind on the high-risk maneuver, decides to go after Wild Thing, catches a knee to the face instead. Mr. Wonderful back on his side of the ring with a kick to the midsection from the Freak. Orndorff back at his tag corner. The Freak rolls back in, locks it up with Rowdy Piper. Piper whips him to the ropes. Back body drop for the Freak. Piper quickly going for the cover and hooking the leg long. But Wild Thing Wayne Tague right there to save the day. Rowdy Piper with an arm snap to the Freak. The Freak struggling to get to a standing position here. Piper drives a knee into the side of his head. The Freak in trouble here. Piper with another knee to the side of the head. He just busted open the Freak. Misses with the overhand right. The Freak misses with the jab. Probably got blood in his eyes now. There's a headlock punch right to the face. Mr. Wonderful stunned on the outside on the other side of the ring. A back rake from Piper to the Freak. The Freak whipped into the corner. Set of hard right hands from Rowdy. Rowdy Piper just beating the Freak down into the corner. Mr. Wonderful still out to lunch on the outside. Wild Thing Wayne Tague at his corner. Sylvia Strong looking on. It is chaos. A choke. A blatant chokey from Rowdy Piper. And has had just about enough of the Freak, I think. Orndorff finally getting back to his corner. Piper covers and hooks the leg, but too close to the Psychodelic's corner. Wild Thing Wayne Tague there to break it up. The Freak rolls to the outside. Rowdy Piper looks like he's going to go after Wild Thing. And he does, but winds up getting hung up on the top rope. Piper crawling his way to the corner. The Freak showboating for the guys in the front row. Here comes Mr. Wonderful on the tag as the Freak rolls back inside the ring. Orndorff charges, running crossbody, takes the Freak down to the canvas. What a match this has been, huh? Stomp to the midsection from Mr. Wonderful. The Mid-Atlantic champion with a stomp to the shoulder of the Freak. Wild Thing tags him with a hard right. He turns his attention back to the Freak. There's a fist drop that don't find the mark. The Freak back to a standing position and tosses Orndorff halfway across the ring. The Freak takes himself to the top turnbuckle. Orndorff laid out in the corner, but starting to make it to a standing position. Here he comes. Flying punch takes down Mr. Wonderful. Orndorff rounded up again by the Freak. Man, this match about 3/4 of the way done, and still nobody's giving up. Orndorff counters his way out of the corner, catches a cheap shot from Wild Thing Wayne Tague. The Freak goes behind on him. Ooh, atomic drop right to the tailbone. Here comes the Wild Thing. Orndorff back to a standing position here. The Freak watching as Wild Thing helps him up. winds up the arm, winds up the leg. There's that beautiful suplex from Wild Thing Wayne Tague. Tague rolls him over, covers, hooks the leg. 1, 2. Orndorff got out of that one himself and had to because Rowdy Piper was nowhere to be found. The Wild Thing catches a shot to the midsection from Orndorff. Orndorff gets a hold of Wild Thing, whips him to the far right corner, charges. There's a clothesline that takes the Wild Thing down to the canvas. There's a fist drop right to the face from Mr. Wonderful, who is very definitely busted up. His eye might be bleeding. Mr. Wonderful trying to unscrew the head of Wild Thing Wayne Tague as Rowdy Piper finally gets it to a standing position. Another fist drop right to the face. A stomp. Another stomp. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, done fooling around as he turns it over to Rowdy Piper, and the Freak comes in on the tag. Fresh partners all the way around. Piper catches a kick from the Freak. Piper delivers a kick to the Freak. Up over the shoulders, but the Freak counters again. Takes Piper down. Oh, man. Vicious punches. Piper quickly gets him off. There's a stomp to the midsection. A stomp to the shoulder. The Wild Thing looking on as the Freak goes to work on Rowdy Piper. A gouge of the face. The Freak with a hard shot to the back to Piper. Whips him to the ropes. Hard shot to the midsection. The Freak rounds him up. Another hard forearm. Drops Piper to the mat again. And now the Freak locking in that. Oh. Oof. An elbow right to the leg. Piper counters the Freak with a jawjacker. A counter kick from the Freak. A jab that don't find the mark. A gouge of the face from Piper. The Freak in the wrong corner as Piper goes to work on the arm of the Freak. Rowdy Piper continues to work on the arm against the ropes. Hot Rod really laying it in on the Freak's arm. Piper tags in Mr. Wonderful. There's a tag kick to the ribs as Orndorff takes over, misses his grapple. The Freak gets a hold of him, has him up, slams him down with authority, turns it back over to Piper, and Piper's about to catch 10 count punches to the chest from the Freak. Mr. Wonderful looking on, not really much he can do about the situation. And out to the floor goes Piper. There's a shot to the back from Orndorff, who's just biding his time, gets a hold of the Freak. There's a beautiful spinning pile driver. Here's a hook of the leg. And here's the ref. But Wild Thing Wayne Tague right there to save the match for his team as the Freak rolls out to the floor. Orndorff catches a forearm from Wild Thing. A hard right to Wild Thing from Orndorff. Another hard right and a drop kick. Drops the Wild Thing to the outside. The Freak still stunned on the outside. Piper still laid out face down on the floor. The referee still counting. Orndorff rolled back inside the ring. Less than 2 minutes to go. Man! The Freak misses with the running headbutt. Orndorff whips him to the ropes. Elbow right to the face and down he goes. Counter kick from the Freak. Orndorff laid down. The Freak countered by Orndorff with a kick. A gouge of the face. Oh man, that was a nasty one too. Flapjack face first into the canvas again. Mr. Wonderful covers. Hooks the leg here. 1, 2. Get up! Hot Rod and Mr. Wonderful picking up the win over the Psychedelics by pinfall.
The time, 18 minutes and 46 seconds. Your winners by pinfall, Paul Orndorff and Rowdy Piper. Oh, well, nobody's gonna get them all perfect every time. And we're all just back after a week away. I'm not making excuses for the Freak and Wild Thing, because clearly Piper and Orndorff have it going on. And hey, if you gotta lose to someone worthy, I suppose.
Plus, the Snarl Tag titles weren't up for contention here. So yeah, it's a rare loss for the Psychedelics, but certainly not a critical one.
We'll be back with our main event right after this. Well, tonight's main event was destined to happen sooner or later. Papa Shango of the Sectarians, backed up by Tiana, said to lock it up. against the RWL World Heavyweight Champion, the legendary Deadman, The Undertaker. And oh boy, we gotta listen to more of these disgusting Gregorian chants.
Tonight's Snarl main event is a non-title match set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, representing the Sectarians, accompanied by Tiana from parts unknown, weighing 312 pounds, Papa Shango. Tex, that mask might hide your emotions, but your body language and posture say you're a little edgy.
And why the hell wouldn't I be, GB? This is the some bitch that blinded me last year with that green mist. I would love to see The Undertaker disembowel the guy, but that's just me.
Here's a little something extra to feel tense about.
Oh, yeah?
I just heard from Myron Schimmelman that it's going to be Tiana challenging Dynamite Jeannie Parker for the women's world title at Coliseum Games for Parker's 90th title defense. I don't like that, not even a little.
Ha! The Sectarians may like to do creepy and ominous, but here's the man who did it first and did it best, the RWL World Heavyweight Champion, The Undertaker.
His opponent from Death Valley, weighing 320 pounds, the RWO World Heavyweight Champion, The Undertaker.
You guys obviously know, non-title match or not, I do not want Papa Shango to win this match. And I would love to see The Undertaker really mess Papa Shango up. I've got a beef with that man that goes back a long way. More fire! The Undertaker. Definitely not a fan of the Sectarians and their shenanigans. I mean, he and his brother Kane, they were brought in to try and rein in the Sectarians, and so far, they haven't done a bad job. But The Undertaker, having to face Papa Shango with this non-title match, and if Papa Shango wins, he's got credence to try and win the World Heavyweight Championship at a future date.
Returning briefly to the subject of Tiana versus Jeannie Parker. Oh, hells to the no. I wouldn't care, except that you know Tiana won't be alone for that match. And the Sect will almost certainly cheat and rule break their asses off. Could be tough for Jeannie Dynamite. I'm right there with you, Wally. And what about Jeannie? How's she gotta be feeling about it?
I'm sure she's already in preparation for that one, and she better be, because it could be her most difficult title defense in a long while.
Yeah, guys, the Sectarians are getting kind of bold. Seems to me like something needs to be done about it. Freaking Papa Shango blinded me last year, that son-bitch. Referee Charles Lucero sounds the bell. Go get him, Undertaker. Hard shot to the midsection, a chop across the throat, a military press whip, and a drop right center ring for Papa Shango. The Undertaker rounds him up. Discus punch drops him right down to the canvas again. Papa Shango starting off on the wrong foot as The Undertaker delivers a stomp to the leg and a stomp to the back. Tiana hanging out over there on the outside. Guarantee she's going to get up to no good. Papa Shango back up on his feet, gets a hold of the legendary Deadman. Wrist clutch kick to the ribs. A second. And a short arm clothesline takes The Undertaker down. Whoa, right back up again. Papa Shango gets a hold of him. Elbows to the midsection from The Undertaker. Undertaker with a running clothesline, a flying clothesline, if you will. There's a stomp right to the head. A big old bald head of Papa Shango, who I really do not care for. Counter. A shot to the midsection from Papa Shango. A shot to the back to The Undertaker. Whip to the ropes. There's a power slam, dead center ring. You'll never hear me say nothing good about Papa Shango, I guarantee you that. Tiana already going under the ring. A kick to the face to Papa Shango from The Undertaker. And here he goes. Oh, man, over the top rope. Flying clothesline right to Papa Shango on the outside. A blatant choke from the Deadman, but Papa Shango counters. Gets a hold of The Undertaker. Has him all the way up for a long vertical suplex. Out there on the floor, referee Charles Lucero continuing the count. Undertaker rolled back inside the ring. Tiana has introduced a chair into the mix. There's another clothesline. Papa Shango right back outside again. Charles Lucero dispatching that chair. Looks like Tiana will have to start all over again. Probably be to the turnbuckle next. Undertaker misses with a clothesline. Papa Shango rocks him up over the shoulders into a fireman's carry. Hangs him up the top rope, and down goes The Undertaker. A stomp to the leg from Papa Shango. Another. Papa Shango trying to turn things around here. The Undertaker had the edge for most of the match so far. And here we go, Tiana. Right away to the turnbuckle, what I tell you guys. Papa Shango. Counter by the Undertaker. Rounded up over the shoulder like a sack of spuds and slammed right to the canvas. Oh, nicely done by the dead man, who is now taking his time, leisurely stomping every available inch of Papa Shango he can put the boots to. Oh, man. That's it. Oh, he covers and hooks the leg, but the referee is distracted with that stupid turnbuckle. Papa Shango has the ability to kick out. A hard overhand right from the dead man. Undertaker locks up Papa Shango for a snap suplex. Papa Shango rounded halfway up. Undertaker gouges the face of Papa Shango. He goes behind, delivers a shot to the back. Whips Papa Shango to the rope, has him up and over for a back body drop. Undertaker takes himself to the middle rope. Oh, wicked elbow right to the chest. Oh, what the hell? Papa Shango using a little bit of chicanery here on the Undertaker. And that's not good. Well, looks like Tiana didn't have to cheat so hard after all. Papa Shango had a little trick up his sleeve. Well, we know about him and doing that. Over the top rope. A double axe handle to the Undertaker, an elbow drop to the chest on the outside. Undertaker slowly making his way back to a standing position. Papa Shango rounds him up for a bear hug on the outside. Won't get a submission that way. Couple of elbows to the head. A double ear clap. Backs off Papa Shango. The Undertaker hurls him towards the barricades. Makes his own way back inside the World Heavyweight Champion. He's signaling this might be the end for Papa Shango. Tiana Marquez certainly didn't like that. One more time back to that turnbuckle. As Papa Shango makes his way back in, Undertaker misses with the clothesline. Papa Shango gets a hold of him. Escorts him towards the ropes. Excuse me. And, oh man. Biting him. He bit him. Some bitch bit him. Papa Shango thinking he's got things in control at the present time. Again, Charles Lucera just, hard right, just busted the Undertaker open. That ain't good. Papa Shango makes his way to the top turnbuckle. And here he comes. Cross body. Here's a pin and a hook of the leg. Here's the ref. One. But just a one. No, a two, excuse me. Elbow drop across the chest. From Papa Shango to the Undertaker. He goes to work on the arm. Undertaker sweeps the leg on Papa Shango, takes him down. Running kick to the face, drops Papa Shango to the mat. Another one. Man. Papa Shango makes his way to a standing position in the far right corner. The Undertaker sits him up on the top turnbuckle. By the goozle. Oh, man. A choke slam and a powerbomb all put together. That was cute. The Undertaker, sensing victory might be in the air. Here we go. He rounds up Papa Shango, and here it is, a tombstone pile driver. And that probably just put the wrap on Papa Shango. Here's a pin. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's going to about do it. The Undertaker picking up a very satisfying win over Papa Shango.
The time, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Your winner by pinfall, The Undertaker.
Boys, that match was so good I needs me a Marlboro.
Man, if you really loved us, you'd quit smoking. Well, anyway, that's this edition of Snarl in the books. Fans, thanks so much for being with us tonight and for supporting our WL Wrestling. We appreciate you every day. Alright, stay tuned because starting Tuesday night, it's the 2026 Coliseum Games Supercard, and we'll all be there for that one in Philadelphia. For everyone here at our WL, Wally Cardell saying thanks, good night, and be safe. Catch you next Saturday.
Night, folks. See you for Coliseum Games. Don't you miss it. It's going to be good.